Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again. And joining me shortly on air will be Kristian von Sponek from Boxen247, my regular guest at this time slot, noon in North America, well, the East Coast of North America, and live at 5 over in the UK. And we were going to discuss, and will be discussing, Anthony Joshua, specifically how good of a boxer is he? But before we do, and seeing Kristian is having a bit of technical difficulty, which said he will take a few minutes to get on here, let me just introduce Anthony Joshua from the fans who are outside of the UK who may not be entirely familiar with him. You might recall he fought in the 2012 Olympics and won the gold. From there, he went on to win numerous victories until being defeated recently by Alexander Usyk in a great heavyweight clash. Up until that point, I was quite happy to support Anthony Joshua's career as a boxer and thought he was doing well, given his size, given his reach, but he was beaten by Usyk. And this is now, as we were seeing online, quite a debatable point as to how he happened to lose, why he lost, etc. I'm glad Kristian is more well-versed in Anthony Joshua than I am, but let me just tell you something about Anthony Joshua.
I don't know if you can hear me, but there is no sound at the moment, so bear with me. Technical problem.
Well, I can hear you just fine, and if I can hear you, the fans can hear you, but let me continue. Just prior to getting signed to Eddie Hearn's company, Matchroom, in 2013, just prior to that, in 2011, he did have some trouble and was released from Reading Prison for what he describes as fighting and other crazy stuff. That was in 2009. 2011, he was then caught with not one, not two, but 8 ounces of weed. So the question might be asked with respect to Anthony Joshua. Maybe he's lost a little bit of that passion, that aggression he had, because he's now 31 years old. And I have to wonder, and I want to ask someone who knows better than I do about Anthony Joshua and his career and his background, whether this all kind of came together for him on Saturday night when he lost to Usyk, because as I suggested, he might have won given his reach, but he was outboxed and clearly lost to Usyk. And I have to wonder, if I look back and I see all the heavyweights who are lined up behind him in the rankings, Anthony Joshua is now ranked number 3 behind Tyson Fury, behind Alexander Usyk. Anthony Joshua's 3, Deontay Wilder's 4, and Dillian Whyte is number 5. I wonder whether Anthony Joshua will remain in the top 5 in this upcoming year as the heavyweight division opens up. Hopefully we can get Kristian on the line and he can address Anthony Joshua and whether or not he is a good a boxer is reputed to be, or as told to us by the British fans as to how good he is. So let's see if our producer can pull in Kristian von Sponek from Boxen247. If not, I'm more than happy to regale you with some other heavyweight names that have come up. We recently discussed the heavyweights and who is standing in line. Andy Ruiz Jr., Michael Hunter out of the USA, both out of the USA, although Andy Ruiz, I think, has a Mexican heritage. Joseph Parker out of New Zealand. Joe Joyce, another English fighter. Tony Yoka, who's fighting out of France. Luis Ortiz, who's fighting out of USA. Robert Helenius, who's out of Finland. Hrgovic, who's out of Croatia. Charles Martin, another American fighter coming up. Kabrat Pulev, who's out of Bulgaria. And these are top 15 heavyweights, and these are all big names. I myself, among the rising stars, like F.A. Ajagba, who's out of Nigeria, but even he's behind the rankings, right behind Adam Konaki, who's out of the USA as well. Number 18 on the list, out of curiosity, Daniel Dubois, fighting out of England, but he's followed by Otto Wallen, who fights out of Sweden, and then Derek Chisora. So there's your top 20 list. according to heavyweightboxing.com and their rankings. It's quite a list. It's quite impressive. And it makes me wonder whether Anthony Joshua will remain in the top five in 2022, this upcoming year. I don't know if he's deserving of a rematch with Usyk. And I was hoping to ask that question of Kristian, whether he's entitled to a rematch. I'm sure Eddie Hearn would like to see a rematch. But a year ago, we were all hoping that Anthony Joshua would go toe-to-toe against Tyson Fury. Well, that fight didn't happen because the legal card was pulled by Deontay Wilder in his camp. So we have that fight coming up on October 9th. And the winner or loser of that fight will probably determine what Anthony Joshua's next move will be. Again, I'm chatting away here and expecting Kristian von Sponek to join me any moment. If he doesn't, I'd be more than happy to entertain comments on the side in our chat room if you're online. If not, keep silent. It's okay. I am kind of surprised that some of the other things in Anthony Joshua's career that have popped up, and that is the racial controversy that he has found himself square in the middle of, going as far back as 2017.
Hi, I'm just giving this a second go.
All right,
so I can hear you.
I can hear you just fine.
I've got a funny feeling, Graeme, apologies about this, but it's not going to work.
Why?
Nope. Can't hear. Sorry about that. Give me a second.
Well, you know what that gives me an opportunity to do? It gives me an opportunity to regale you about these racial controversies. So Joshua was previously criticized for a set of incidents in November 2017. He called heavyweight boxer Eddie Chambers a disgrace to the superior black race on Instagram. Eddie Hearn said the message came from a fake account, but Chambers showed it came from Joshua's verified account. Joshua later appeared to voice support for Zimbabwean dictator Robert Mugabe on Snapchat. Hearn subsequently stated Joshua has a major problem with social media accounts and suggested the accounts may have been hacked. But in June 2020, Joshua was accused of racism for his speech at a Black Lives Matter protest in Watford, where he said, "Show them where it hurts. Abstain from spending your money in their shops and economies and invest in black-owned businesses." This was interpreted by some as a call to boycott white businesses. In response, he said the speech was not his own and that he had only read it out on behalf of a friend. He also said, "If you think I'm racist, go fuck yourself." That's Anthony Joshua and his background in a nutshell in terms of his adult life. And his professional boxing career has been outstanding up until this past weekend, where it became rather suspect, where he was simply outboxed by Alexander Usyk, and he dropped down the rankings to number 3. So I really hope Kristian comes online. He keeps bouncing in and bouncing out, by the way. This only opens up, quite frankly, another opportunity for us to speak about Anthony Joshua. I thought we'd spoken about Anthony Joshua quite a lot yesterday, and didn't really think we needed to speak about Anthony Joshua anymore, simply because the heavyweight division is so clogged up and needs to be unclogged. Kristian, are you there? Can you hear me fine now? Can you hear us? Kristian von Sponek from Boxen247, live on the air. Nope, he can't. Now I can't even hear him speaking to his microphone. for someone, okay, this is kind of funny. For someone who has all that equipment, come on.
I can hear you. Third time lucky, but no joy.
I can hear you just fine. Oh my God. Okay, boys, that's it. We'll have to suspend this one. It seems that Kristian's a little bit upset, and I've been blabbering for 10 minutes about Anthony Joshua, who, by the way, I thought would win that Usyk fight. I was wrong. Why? Because he didn't use his reach to his advantage, and early in the rounds, round 3 in particular, he was beaten by Usyk, and by round 12, he was spent, and Usyk beat him, had him on the ropes, and made an easy decision for the judges. Right, that's it for me then. I'm out. If Kristian comes on, he can have the show all to himself and tell you how great Anthony Joshua is or is not. I'm not sure what Kristian thinks, but I think the British really do like Anthony Joshua, as they do like all of their fighters. But there's a huge backlog of great fighters from around the world willing to challenge whoever wins on October 9th. And let's see. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hopefully Kristian comes on. If he does, enjoy his comments.